Welcome to the Burlington Township Schools 2020-2021 school year. Since it was built, we met in the pack to start our school years. We celebrated each other and we welcomed new friends. We explored our successes of recent years and we reviewed the objectives that will shape the new year. Like so many things recently, we will handle things differently this year. Instead of a big kickoff, we will share important information with you in other ways. One thing that will not change is our vision. We will continue to focus on all students achieving. Our plan this year is responsive to the realities of where we find ourselves right now. We will explore consistency in delivery of online instruction. We will continue with important initiatives, even if the pace is adjusted for the reality of where we are. We will explore the need to address equity, diversity, and inclusion in all aspects of our district. And we will seek to provide support to students and staff alike. The Great Book of Lasts. Years ago, someone introduced me to the concept of the Great Book of Lasts. See, we all know about the Great Book of Firsts. We keep track of our child's first step and our first car and our first home. But the Great Book of Lasts is a little different. The last time of experiencing something. Things like the last time you tucked your child into sleep before they were too old to let you do it. The last time you read them a nighttime story. The last time you slept at your parents' house before moving into your own place. The last time you drove that last car of yours. The last time you had to drive with someone else instead of driving on your own. The Great Book of Lasts. Over my life, I've come to understand that the Great Book of Lasts doesn't have to be a sad thing. It is simply that life will inevitably move on. Things will change and we will grow. The Great Book of Lasts. On March 13th, we all experienced a page in the Great Book of Lasts when we closed instantly one Friday afternoon. One of the biggest regrets I have is that I wasn't able to tell everyone that we wouldn't see each other again in person for months. I wish the students had known, I wish the teachers had known, I wish I had known, and I wish all of the staff had had a chance to say goodbye to one another in person. It is a page in my Great Book of Lasts. As with every other entry in my Great Book of Lasts, it's up to me to decide that it doesn't have to be a sad entry, just an accepted one. 2020 has definitely been a different year. Our perspectives have changed. Hopefully, we have changed ourselves for the better, and we have taken some time to think about how things were in education, in our society, in our lives, in ourselves, and have the opportunity to begin to explore what is really important. We can change perspectives, and we can grow from it. Recently, my son was cleaning and repairing the fence, and he was very proud of himself. And then all of a sudden, he was very down on himself, and I asked why. His answer was that it looked great until he walked a few feet away, and he looked from another angle. Suddenly, he realized there was more to see, but his original perspective did not allow him to get a full view. As he moved from side to side, looked high and bent low, he realized there was so much more to see. And he realized there was so much more work to be done. As this happened, I couldn't help but think it was a great analogy to 2020 on so many levels. Eye doctors refer to 2020 as perfect vision. We have experienced this year has been anything but perfect, let alone clear vision. But that's okay, because we can still change our perspective. We can still bring things into focus. And as far as I'm concerned, 2020 is just beginning. And we have the chance to change our perspective and learn more than we ever have before about ourselves and our world. We know that our roles are to help children grow, academically, socially, and in awareness of their own uniqueness. After all, as adults, we live this part of life, and we can provide guidance. We are confident when we tell a student they will miss high school because we lived it and we've transitioned others into post-secondary life. We are confident when we tell new middle school students that they can learn to change classes or handle the workload because we did and we helped others do it. We are confident when we tell parents of very young children that the children will stop crying when the parents leave, because we experienced it and we help children move into the new routine of school. As humans, we are wired to rely on what we have experienced in the past to help predict the future. Well, 2020 has certainly taught us that sometimes our collective past does not help us predict the future. So we do what comes natural to us. We try to learn from listening to others, exploring, and guessing what may come. We don't like to be out of control. So when it comes to this pandemic, we research, we guess, we read, we watch, we theorize, and we guess some more, because there just isn't enough solid information yet. We do this to gain some control over the situation. The reality is, we can't control many things outside of ourselves. I have shared with the youth I serve and my own children that the most important thing they can learn is that they cannot control anyone or anything but themselves. Once learned, this lesson allows for incredible freedom. If we always are in control of ourselves, no matter what happens, we choose how to respond, where to go next, how to move forward. This spring and summer have taught us that we cannot control things, but we can control how we handle it. Attitude is everything. This has not been easy for the last 6 months when everything seemed out of our control, and it was out of our control. Don't get me wrong, learning to control oneself still includes having times of doubt and trouble, but learning to control ourselves means freedom, and it means having permission to control oneself and not become either a victim or a villain. Our world is very unsettled. People are angry. As uncertainty builds, people direct their frustration, fear, and anger toward one another. During these times, we have the opportunity to remember what is really happening. People feel out of control. They are searching for normal. They are hurting, frustrated, and in its most basic form, scared. Simple things we took for granted a few months ago are vastly changed. Sadly, some of these unsettled feelings may be directed. As we navigate this new school year, remember, we cannot control what is happening, but we can control how we react to what is happening. Be kind. Everyone is in a different place these days, were the words of a colleague shared not too long ago. These are good words to live by. I have never seen a time when so many people are in such different places, mentally, emotionally, socially. Each of us are in some place different. We must remember to simply be kind. Accept everyone has a right to be in different places right now. Some will be ready for this to be over, some will be afraid to be near others, some will move between concerns. For each person, there will likely be different things that are of great concern. For one person, it may be being near someone. For another, it could be seeing someone without a mask. For another, it could be hearing a sneeze, or dozens of other things. Wherever you are, be kind. I know when we shut down that restarting was going to be a huge uphill climb, and I knew the longer we were out of school, the harder it was to come back. I wasn't certain what it would take to reopen, but I knew Burlington Township Schools would figure it out. I knew this work would take dozens of people. Your colleagues put in an enormous amount of time helping to make this opening as well as it could possibly be. Seeking the input and assistance from so many people required a lot of trust. That may seem a bit odd, but when you have a project this large, you need to use every talent possible. This means allowing people to make decisions, explore options, debate outcomes, or revise plans when needed. The result is the excellent work that has been vetted through lots of lenses because of the diversity of personnel. It doesn't mean that it's perfect, just that we tried to make it the best that we could. The Path Forward is the largest project ever undertaken in Burlington Township Schools in the last 70 years. The need to trust, collaborate, think in new ways, and make decisions quickly required lots of change. This shift in how we approach this project and the inclusiveness of many in the process will be one of my favorite takeaways from this time. We are thrust into the unknown. There are new things to learn, procedures to follow, guidelines that must be met. These next few weeks will be a whirlwind of excitement. I hope that each of us gets to experience something we view as a personal triumph. Whether it is mastering a new application, overcoming a fear of being around others, learning to accept that others are in a different place, and learning to engage with empathy, embrace critical conversations, and rethink instruction. I hope there are moments of grace as we struggle. Nothing will be perfect. That doesn't mean we stop trying for things to be great. Over the next few weeks, I've heard a lot of people talk about just going back to normal. I understand people wishing for predictability. It's much more comfortable knowing what is likely to come next. But I have to admit, I no longer want to return to the world exactly as it was on March 12th. Don't get me wrong, I look forward to retiring my masks, holding hands, singing in person, embracing families and friends without the fear of passing an illness. But there are many things I don't want to return back to from those days. We have made more progress in the consistency of delivery of instruction. We have moved forward in our understanding and use of technology and applications. We have engaged in conversations that are long, long overdue. I don't want to return to a time before all of these things. In short, I want to take more from this experience than it has taken from me. We are in an interesting place in time. We are living history. In 5 years, we will know where this strange ride takes us. But until then, we will need to keep living and embrace the opportunities that are presenting themselves. In addition to the pandemic, we know that our awareness has been raised in inequities of the past. Pain, hurt, and frustration from these are deeply felt by many. Our students lost a third of their school year. They lost time with friends, they lost the end-of-year activities, and even those that move forward are greatly changed. They are facing a school experience so different than the past. Isolation, loneliness, pain, and loss of focus are being felt by many of our children. We must learn to see each other as individuals. Every adult and student will come from a different place. We need to see the whole person and allow ourselves to be seen. We are faced with finding a way to safely return to schools with hundreds of other people. This has left everyone in uncomfortable situations, from those who are ready to just go back to the way it was, to those who are afraid to come back at all. We need to find ways to continue to deliver instruction in a consistent and engaging manner while not being in the same room. Each of these are unique challenges. Any one of these being handled in a single school year would take hundreds of hours of work, would challenge our thinking, and would leave us uncomfortable with the amount of change happening around us and to us. Each of these situations must be addressed simultaneously this year, and we will do just that. We will embrace the good parts of these challenges. We will take more from these experiences than they take from us. The journey will not be easy, but it will be worthwhile. Today, we will begin the 2020-2021 school year, a year full of promise, a year full of challenges, a year unlike any other year we remember. A year we may fear, a year that we will test our resolve and strength, a year that will require all of us to recommit to the importance of public education and ensuring its endurance and embrace its transformation. We will seek to control ourselves, knowing there is nothing else we can truly control. We will look forward to the 2020-2021 not because we expect to return to normal, but because we know our vision and it has been part of us and we have committed to it. Ensuring all students achieve gives us the purpose and courage to move forward into an uncertain and unprecedented time. We can look forward to the 2020-2021 and beyond because the future is not yet written, and when it is over, we will embrace the growth we have shared. We will build upon our past, we will come back and reconnect to our colleagues, our students, and even ourselves. We will re-inspire each other by sharing stories of personal successes and listen to the struggles endured. We will focus on our students and help them achieve. We will provide each other with the ability to listen to stories, experiences, concerns, and triumphs without judgment. We will find the resilience to engage our students and guide them firmly into the future. As we write in our great book of lasts, let's make those entries about old ways of thinking and old ways of doing things. Let's understand that we control ourselves our optimism, our patience, our enthusiasm for learning. Let's commit to being the calm, caring, and compassionate educators we are, and help our students learn the resilience they need to face their futures. Thank you for listening, and have a great year. Not necessarily an easy year, but a year of growth, a year of personal triumphs, and a year where we reconnect to re-inspire through resilience and engagement.